Hello everyone, so this is a tutorial on how to reassemble a Rubik's Magic. Right now I have Rubik's Magic that is all like jumbled up and the strings are falling off. I'm going to quickly go over how to disassemble one. So you want to take the tiles and slowly and carefully pull them apart and remove the strings without snapping them. Once you have finished assembling it, you can put your tiles together like this and gather all of your strings and make a pile. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take the bottom 4 tiles, we're going to flip them over, and now we're going to create a line. So we're going to take these and put them on this end of the line. So this is the order we're going to string them in. We're only going to do 3 tiles at a time. So go ahead and take the first 3 and put the remaining 5 off to the side. I'm going to go over 2 different stringing patterns. I'll go over the first one right now since we will be using that one first, and then when we need the second one, I'll go over it then. So go ahead and grab a string, and before we start stringing, something you want to keep in mind is that you want the strings to run along the cuts of these tiles, and you don't want them to go in between the plastic where the printouts are. If it goes in between, the magic will not be able to turn properly. So just make sure you don't do that. For the first stringing pattern, what we're going to do is we're going to take the end of our string and we're going to put it on the back cut of this corner. So right here. So take your string, straighten it out, and make sure that you put it on the cut on the back. Then we can put it on the table so that it holds it there. And we're going to pull in this direction. So now the string is going to be running along this cut and this cut. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the bottom part of the string and put it underneath this corner. So we can go ahead, carefully lift up the tile and place the string underneath the corner. Then we can pull in this direction right here. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take the top part of the string and we're going to put it underneath the bottom, underneath this corner. But we're going to keep the string running along here, so you can go ahead, hold it down with one of your fingers. You're going to bring the top one down. We'll carefully lift up the tile, place it down, and you can pull this way. Now we're going to put the top part of the string underneath this corner, so carefully lift it up, put it underneath, and pull this way. Now we have this string running along this cut, and this one's just over here. So we're going to do something a little different. We're going to make a loop, and the way we're going to do that is we're going to take the bottom string and cross it over the top one. Then we're going to put the loop on this corner. Then we could take the string and pull it this way. When we do that, the string is going to go along this cut and this one. Then we could take this part of the string and put it on the back of this corner. You can go ahead and carefully twist it. It might make it a little easier, but don't go too fast because then it might fall apart. Okay. So once we have done that, we can go ahead and flip the tiles over, grab another piece of string, and we're going to go ahead and do the same stringing pattern, starting from here. So I'm going to go through this one quickly. We're going to put the end on the back, this corner. We'll pull this way to tighten everything up. The string will be going along here and here. we're going to take the bottom part of the string and put it underneath this corner. Carefully lift it up, bring it underneath, pull this way to tighten the strings. Now we want the bottom part of the string to be running along this cut, and this one's just going to be over here. So now we're going to take the top one, and we're going to put it underneath this corner. We're going to hold this one down, and bring the string down. Carefully lift up the tile, pull up, and then this way. So now you want to make sure that the string is running along this cut and this cut. Sometimes this might go underneath this tile, so just make sure that you bring it up here. Then we're going to take the top part of the string, put it underneath this corner, lift it up, put it under there, pull this way. So now this part of the string is running along this cut, this one's over here. So now we're going to make our loop again. We're going to take this part of the string, bottom part, and cross it over the top. Put the loop on the bottom right corner. Then we can go ahead and pull. Make sure the string is going along this cut, this one. We put it on the back of this corner. You want to be extra careful now because it's getting tighter. That's how you do the first three. So now we need to check to make sure that we did everything right. And the way we can do that is by going like this. If you're able to do that, we can move on. But if you aren't, then you're going to have to redo that step. So now we're going to take our next tile in the line. We're going to put it on the end. And now we're going to string these three using the second pattern. So let's go over the second pattern now. Grab your string. This pattern is very similar to the first one. It's pretty much just a back upside down version of the other one that we did. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the end of our string on the back of this corner. So just pretend like this one's not there and you're just stringing these three. So separate these two, put the string in between them, make sure it's on the back cut. Then we can pull this way. Another tip is there's a magnet on the string and you want to make sure that it's like on the top of the piece and not on like the corner. It's a lot harder to string with it on the corner, so if you keep it here, you won't run into any issues. So now the string is going along these two cuts. We can take the top, we're going to put it on the back of this corner. Carefully lift it up, bring it onto the back, and now we can pull this way so that the string is running along here and it's just over here. Now we're going to take the bottom string and we're going to put it on the back of this corner. And the way I like to do this is I like to put my thumb underneath the string, put it on top of the string that's going here to hold it into place. Hold this one up, lift the tile, put it on the back, and then pull this way. Now we're going to take the bottom part of the string. Well, before we do that, just make sure that these parts of the string are running along these cuts. We're going to take the bottom part of the string, we're going to put it on the back of this corner. Now we can pull this way. And this part of the string is going to be running along this cut, so it's going to be over here. Now you can take the top part of the string, cross it over the bottom to make a loop. Put it on the top left corner. Then you can pull the remaining string down. So now it's running along this cut and this one. You can put it on the back of this corner. Go ahead and twist it a little bit if it makes it easier. Do it carefully though. There we go. Now you can carefully flip it over, and we're going to do it on this side. So I'll grab another piece of string, and we're going to put the end on the back of this corner. Once again, I'm going to try to make sure that the magnet stays on this part of the tile and not the corner. Now both sides of the string are going to be running along these two cuts. We could take the top part of the string and we're going to put it underneath this corner. Now we can pull it this way. This part of the string will be running along this cut. This one will be over here. Now we'll do that little trick that I showed where you put your thumb underneath, hold this one into place, then pull the bottom part of the string up and put it underneath this corner right here. Then we'll pull this way, make sure that these two are running along these cuts. We'll take the bottom part, we're going to put it on the back of this corner. And then we can pull this way. So this part of the string is running along this cut, this one's just over here. Now we'll cross the top one over the bottom one to make a loop and put it on the top right. Then make sure that the string is running along this cut and this one, put it on the back of this corner. Now we can flip it over, check it like this. It's done right, so now we can continue. So now we can add our next tile. And we are going to string together these three with the first pattern on the front and then flip it over and do it on the back. So I'm not going to be going over the first stringing pattern again, so just go ahead and rewind and come back when you are done doing that. So once you have completed your fifth tile, you can go ahead and check it. It's done the right way. Now we can add our next tile, and we're going to string these with the second stringing pattern on the front and then flip it over and do it on the back. So now that we have the sixth one, we can go ahead and check it. It's good. We can add our next tile, and we're going to string together these three with the first stringing pattern and then flip it over and do the first stringing pattern again on the back. Once you have the seventh one, you can check it like this. And now we can add our final tile, and we'll do these three with the second pattern on the front and on the back. So once we have added our final tile, we'll check it. If it works, we can move on. So next we'll flip over the line, take the ends, bring them together, fold it like this so they're in the center. So now what we're going to do is we are going to connect these, and the way we're going to do that is we're going to string these three tiles together with the first stringing pattern, and then we'll flip it like this so we can do it on the back as well. Then we'll flip it again. We'll connect these three with the second stringing pattern, and then we'll flip it and do it on the back as well. In some cases you may not have enough string. I think I only have like 3 left. Yeah. So if you have like 2 left, that's completely fine. You can just do this part and this part. Or if you have 3 left like me, you do that part, and then just this part. It's definitely best to have as much string as possible because then the magic will be more stable, but it will work perfectly fine without like 2 strings. As you're stringing, make sure that you aren't putting the string on the tile underneath. Make sure that it's behind the tile that you're working with. So maybe just spread them apart. Make sure that it's in there and not in between so that it functions the right way. So we have finished restringing our magic. These are connected. And now we have to bring it into a state where we can solve it. The way we're going to do that is we're going to lift the top layer, move it over to the left once. Then we can open up our magic. We're going to take these tiles and push them towards us. Then we can bring this flap down, this one up, separate it, and now we can solve it. Just make sure that everything's working. You run into the issue where it's not, just make sure that the strings aren't in between the plastic or the magnets aren't on any of the corners. So that was how to restring your magic. I hope this tutorial helped.